The story takes place in a world where millions of people die every year from different diseases. To stop this, Korean and American scientists secretly break the laws of nature. Using stem cell cloning and genetic engineering, they create a human being. But this creation turns out far beyond their imagination. He gains the power to control the 5 elements of nature. Here, the hero takes his first step into the dangerous maze of secret research. What happens after that? That's what makes the story thrilling to watch. The movie begins with a young man named Seobok. He is shown inside a lab with a strange patch and hole on the back of his neck. Scientists regularly inject fluids into him through that hole. They keep him under 24/7 surveillance, checking his blood, trimming his nails, and maintaining him carefully. 2 doctors are mainly in charge: Dr. Lin, a Korean with a clean shave, and Dr. Anderson, an American with a beard. One evening after work, Anderson returns home and writes notes on his computer. The project is named Seobok. He types that Seobok is performing far better than expected. Not only does he have superhuman powers, but he's also immune to all diseases. Humanity could benefit greatly from him, as he might help prevent death itself. But there's also a danger: his powers may spiral out of control. Just then, Anderson hears a sound, looks out of his window, and spots a drone hovering nearby. Suddenly, it explodes, killing him on the spot. Then the movie shifts focus to the hero, Park, a former intelligence agent. These days, he has no job and spends his time searching for drugs at home. The truth is, Park has a brain tumor. He often suffers from unbearable headaches that could kill him at any time. To ease the pain, he relies on drugs and always keeps a supply at home. Meanwhile, the head of Korea's intelligence agency, Kevin, is shown talking to the head of American intelligence. They are discussing the murder of Dr. Anderson. Kevin says Anderson was definitely targeted by a terrorist group and that Anderson also had important data about the Seobok project. Kevin assures them that they will soon find the killer and deliver the report. Later, Kevin calls Dr. Lin and warns him that a terrorist group has found out about Seobok. Staying in the lab could be dangerous, so he suggests evacuating, but Lin refuses, saying the research has reached its final stage and abandoning it now is impossible. Instead, Lin advises him to inform Zion, the private company funding and protecting this project. The company is owned by a man also named Zion. In the next scene, Park visits a hospital where his friend works. Park complains of severe headaches and sleepless nights and asks for medicine. His friend warns him that no medicine can actually save his life. Park knows this, but insists on getting it anyway. Angry and desperate, he takes the medicine, which is not really medicine, but a narcotic drug. Later, Park goes to a riverbank, mixes the drug into a glass, and inhales it. The drug knocks him out, and he dreams that he is drowning inside a car, filling with water. He struggles but can't escape, until he suddenly wakes up and realizes it was just a dream. Just then, a group of armed men surrounds him, forces him into a car, and drives him to another riverbank. There, Park sees Kevin and angrily asks why he was brought there. Kevin calmly reminds him that this is the same place where someone named Hyungo drowned. Park brushes off the memory and demands to know the real reason. Kevin explains that there's a mission only Park can handle. Park refuses, saying he no longer works for anyone. But Kevin tempts him, saying he'll be paid any amount he wants, and more importantly, the mission is for his country. After some hesitation, Park finally agrees. The next scene shows Park arriving at a large port where he meets Lin. From the outside, it looks like a normal cargo ship, but inside it is actually a high-security lab. Since Dr. Anderson's death, security has become even tighter. The lab is filled with artificial plants, mushrooms, and cloned animals for experiments. Curious, Park asks what kind of research they're doing here. Lin introduces him to Amy, another scientist. She explains that they created artificial chromosomes through genetic engineering, placed them inside a female egg, and provided all the necessary nutrition for 7 months. This process resulted in a living being. Park is confused and asks what kind of being they created, an animal, a bird, or something else. Lin then shows him a video of an 18 to 19-year-old boy sitting by the sea. Park is shocked to learn this boy was created artificially. Lin explains, "This is our subject. His name is Seobok. We made him as a human, but something unexpected happened. His brain cells vibrate in a way we never imagined, giving him unnatural powers. He can control elements around him. If he gets hurt, his cells heal the wound in seconds. And as far as we know, he cannot die." To prove it, Lin signals Seobok. The boy steps onto the sand, and immediately the sand begins to shift away from him. Soon, plants and stones around him start floating into the air. Park stares in disbelief. Shaken, he asks Lin what the original purpose of this creation was. Lin explains, "Millions of people die every year from incurable diseases. We created Seobok to find cures. We extract a yellow liquid from his spine. If we can test it on volunteers, we might be able to cure diseases that were once impossible to treat." Kevin later meets Park and says, "We haven't found any volunteer for the experiment yet, and there are legal restrictions. But I have an idea. You have a brain tumor, and at most, you'll live another 6 months to a year. If you agree to become the volunteer, we'll inject CO box spinal fluid into your body. If it works, your tumor will be cured and you'll get a new life. If it fails, you may die, but that's something already waiting for you. At least you'll die with the pride of helping humanity. Park hesitates, but after some thought, he agrees. For this test, Park and Seobok must be taken to an American lab. Before leaving, a special medicine is injected into Seobok. Amy explains, this injection must be given once every 24 hours. Without it, Seobok will die. Surprised, Park laughs, but Lynn told me Seobok can never die. Amy clarifies, Seobok can't die from accidents or bullets, but because of the energy in his body, his cells vibrate too much and could burst, killing him. This medicine prevents that, so he must get it daily. Park then asks, and if the experiment on me fails? Amy bluntly replies, then you'll die a very painful death. Nothing else, Park is scared, but he accepts the risk. He sets out with Seobok for the lab. Both sit inside a large container, with security cars escorting them from the front and back. A doctor and nurse are also inside for emergencies. Trying to break the silence, Park introduces himself to Seobok. Seobok suddenly asks, how many people have you killed with your gun? Park replies, too many. Seobok goes quiet, shocked. Park keeps an eye on the road through cameras and notices an ambulance pass by. Something feels suspicious. He warns the security team to watch that ambulance closely. Moments later, his suspicion proves true. The ambulance doors burst open and terrorists storm out with guns. They attack and completely destroy the security cars. Hearing this, Kevin quickly orders his team, we must save Park and Seobok immediately. Inside the container, Park and Seobok remain calm, but the nurse and doctor panic and run. The terrorists shoot them dead on the spot. Park prepares himself, holding his gun ready, but Seobok stays fearless, with no expression of fear. Suddenly, a smoke bomb is thrown inside the container, and the doors slam shut. Park faints. When he wakes up, his hands are tied. Seobok, however, is calmly sitting in a wheelchair. Park can't understand what's happening. Struggling, he spots a knife lying nearby and slowly tries to cut himself free. Just then, a terrorist approaches and tries to inject Seobok with something. Seobok refuses, but the terrorist insists. Furious, Seobok uses his mind power, without lifting a finger, to fling the terrorist violently around the van. Meanwhile, Park frees himself, grabs the knife, and knocks the man unconscious. More terrorists open the container doors, but find no one inside. To their shock, Park and Seobok have already moved into the driver's cabin. Park starts the truck and drives away at full speed. The terrorists chase and cling to the container, but Park cleverly smashes the container against roadside pillars, knocking them off one by one and speeds forward. Meanwhile, Kevin and his team are tracking Park and Seobok's movements. Park stops the vehicle and calls Kevin, informing him that they've managed to escape. Right now, we're in a place called Kangri, he says. Kevin replies, there's a safe house 14 kilometers away in a town called Leon. Go there, you'll be safe. After the call, Park notices that the car has broken down. He sighs and tells Seobok, we'll have to walk the 14 kilometers. But Seobok questions him, why should I even come with you? Park explains, because that gang is after you. Seobok calmly asks, why? Because they need me? Then don't you also need me? Park replies, yes I do, because if you're not here, I'll lose my chance of survival. Seobok points out, so you're only protecting me for your own benefit. This irritates Park, who snaps, don't test my patience, just stop talking like this. Then he forces Seobok to walk with him. For the first time in his life, Seobok sees the outside world. Everything amazes him. He sits by a fish stall, staring at the fish quietly, not replying when the fish seller asks him questions. Park comes back, pulls him away, and firmly says, you're not allowed to go anywhere alone. Always stay with me. As they continue walking, people stare strangely at Seobok's unusual lab clothing. To avoid attention, Park takes him to a shop to buy new clothes. Coincidentally, the shop belongs to the same fish seller. They buy a proper outfit and shoes for Seobok and then head to the safe house Kevin mentioned. That safe house is fully equipped with security cameras. Inside, Park finds a cupboard containing a gun and another filled with cash. When Seobok tries to take some money, Park stops him. Feeling rejected, Seobok looks upset, as if Park never lets him do anything freely. To cheer him up, Park buys him noodles. Seobok loves it so much that he finishes 3 bowls in one go. While eating, Park asks curiously, how do you even know that you're artificially created? Seobok answers, my mother told me. Surprised, Park asks, mother? You have a mother? Seobok nods and says, yes, you know her, Amy. She taught me everything. She's my mother. Park realizes he was born and raised entirely inside that lab. He asks, so what did you usually do there all day? Seobok replies softly, not much. I ate my meals on time. I took lots of tablets. They gave me many injections and extracted liquid from my body. Park listens and asks, and apart from that, you don't know anything else? Seobok shakes his head. No, I don't, but sometimes I wonder, these people created me, and they keep experimenting on me. I still don't know if something like luck exists for me. I've never found the answer. But through everything, my mother, Amy, has always been there for me. Hearing this, Park feels pity for Seobok and begins to understand the loneliness he has lived with. Meanwhile, CCTV footage shows two intelligence agents arriving at the safe house. Park checks their IDs and lets them in. But the moment they enter, the agents suddenly aim their guns at Seobok. Park immediately jumps forward to protect him, because without Seobok, he has no hope of being cured. The agents fire, but strangely, the bullets never hit Park or Seobok. Instead, they deflect away in another direction. Shocked, one agent thinks his gun is malfunctioning. Seizing the chance, Park stabs the agent's hand with his knife. The second agent aims at Seobok, but before he can shoot, Seobok uses his powers and flings the man violently through the air. Together, Park and Seobok overpower both attackers. Just then, the phone of one agent rings. Park answers, and it's Kevin on the other side. Kevin asks coldly, is Seobok dead? Park is stunned. What's going on? Why are you trying to kill Seobok? Kevin replies, this is for the good of our country. Do it. Kill Seobok. I'll explain later. Park snaps back. I've already been betrayed once by listening to you. I won't fall for it again. He hangs up. Shaken, Park immediately calls Lynn and tells him that Kevin is trying to kill them. Lynn reassures him, come back to the lab. You'll both be safe here. After that, Lynn reports the situation to Zion, the project's sponsor, warning him that Kevin is playing a double game and wants Seobok dead. Park and Seobok then escape in the car that belonged to the agents. On the way, Seobok refuses to go to the lab. I want to go to Aljan, he insists. Park argues, you can't go anywhere without me, but Seobok holds up a bundle of cash he secretly stole from the safe house cupboard. With this, I can go wherever I want. Park realizes Seobok won't easily listen, so he tricks him. Fine, I'll take you to Aljan, he lies, but in reality, he is driving towards the lab. On the way, Park casually asks, so, who do you know in Aljan? Seobok replies firmly, that's private, you don't need to know. Then he suddenly asks, when that agent was about to shoot me, why didn't you just run away? Why did you protect me? Park admits bluntly, because you carry the cure for my disease inside you. If something happens to you, I won't survive either. That's why I saved you. Just then, Seobok begins coughing and vomits blood. Park panics and says, we need to leave immediately. But Seobok insists calmly, I'm fine. Nothing is wrong with me. Meanwhile, Zion video calls Kevin in anger. You are betraying me. You've joined hands with the Americans to kill Seobok, haven't you? Kevin replies without fear. Yes, I'm not scared of you anymore. The Americans explained something to me. A true human must be born and must die. Without death, he is not human. If people in this world live forever, it would destroy the balance of life. That's why Seobok has to die. And I agree with them. Now watch, I will kill Seobok. Do whatever you can to stop me. After driving all night, Park and Seobok stop at a gas station. Park tells him, I'm going to the bathroom. You fill the tank, pay for it, and don't move the car. Inside the mini market, Park secretly calls Lynn and says, Seobok vomited blood. Lynn explains, it's been 24 hours since he left the lab. His cells are starting to burst. If he doesn't get his injection immediately, he'll die. At the same time, Kevin orders his team to scan all the nearby CCTV cameras to track Park and Seobok. Meanwhile, after paying for the gas, Seobok enters a supermarket. He notices two girls eating noodles and keeps staring at the food. Feeling uncomfortable, the girls call their boyfriends and complain about him. As Seobok tries to quietly slip away, one boyfriend grabs him aggressively, but Seobok twists sharply, throwing the man far across the store. The second boyfriend punches Seobok on the forehead. Enraged, Seobok loses control and unleashes his powers, destroying the entire shop in seconds. Park sees the chaos and rushes to drag Seobok back into the car. They escape quickly, but Kevin, watching through the CCTV network, manages to track their exact location. He immediately dispatches half his team to capture them. Inside the car, tension rises. Park scolds Seobok angrily, if you're going to fight with people like this, then don't come with me. If I die, I'll accept it as my fate, but stop following me. He gets out of the car and starts walking away. Seobok stops him, apologizing softly. Forgive me, I won't do this again. In this moment, it becomes clear that Seobok has begun to see Park not just as a guard, but as a friend, and he decides to listen to him. While driving, Park notices police cars nearby and immediately guesses that Kevin must have sent them. To avoid them, he takes a different road and drives until they reach the beach. Park says, we're safe here for now. When morning comes, we'll go straight to the lab. But as soon as as he says it, he realizes he has spoken too openly. Seobok becomes angry. So you were never taking me to Aljan? You're just like the others. You lied to me. Park tries to explain. Your blood cells are breaking down. If you don't get the injection, you'll die. Taking you to the lab is the only way to save you. And if you die, I will also die soon. Seobok glares at him. You're selfish. Millions of people in this world die every year from diseases, but all you care about is saving yourself. What makes your life so special compared to them? You're not some great saint who has done good for humanity. Why should you get to live? Park lowers his head and admits, you're right. I haven't done anything for others, but that doesn't mean I'll just accept death so easily. Yes, I made many mistakes, but I still want to live. I still feel I have the right to live. Suddenly, Park's tumor pain returns. He clutches his head and collapses unconscious. When he wakes up, it's morning. He finds Seobok sitting quietly by the sea, lost in thought. Seobok remembers a conversation he once had with Amy. He had asked her, Mother, you created me. You are a great scientist. But who am I? Born in a lab, fated to die in the same lab. Do I have no hopes? No destiny of my own? Amy had given him a metaphor. She said, if you eat half an apple, the other half must also be eaten by you. Nobody else can eat it for you. Think of one half as the sun and the other half as the moon. The sun brings day, the moon brings night. Just as you enjoy the day, you must also accept the night. Light is birth and darkness is death. As these words echo in his mind, Park comes over and asks, didn't you sleep all night? Seobok answers, sleep? I don't even know what that is. Park is shocked. You mean, in all these years, you never closed your eyes and rested? Never slept? Seobok shakes his head. No. Never hearing this, Park feels terrible. He realizes that the researchers didn't just create Seobok. They stole from him the most basic experiences of being human. He isn't allowed to live like a real person, nor is he just a machine. He is trapped between the two. Park apologizes softly. I'm sorry. I should not have lied to you, but it's so hard to accept death. You don't understand how terrifying it feels. Seobok calmly replies, what's so difficult? Last night you slept and woke up today. If you had died in your sleep, you wouldn't have even known. Why can't humans accept death as naturally as they accept sleep? Park shakes his head. I don't know, but when I close my eyes at night, I sleep with the hope of opening them again in the morning. Ever since I got this tumor, I can't sleep. Every moment I'm afraid that I may not wake up. That's why I fight death so much. He pauses, then adds, I told you I'm not a good man. Do you know why? Let me tell you, Park begins sharing a dark secret from his past. When I worked in intelligence, I had a close friend named Hyango. Our own department began killing our team members to cover up the mistakes of senior officers. But Hyango gathered proof of their corruption on a pen drive. If that pen drive had reached the media, the truth would have been revealed. One day, she drank some juice I gave her, but it was poisoned. Her body froze completely. Kevin and his men then staged the scene, making it look like she had taken sleeping pills and died. They pushed her car into the river. Park's eyes fill with tears as he continues. I asked Kevin, you only said we needed to take the pen drive. Then why did she die? Kevin told me, to protect the department. Either she had to die or you. If you're so noble, then switch places with her. I'll drown you instead. I froze. I was terrified. And in order to save myself, I let her die. He breaks down and says, from that day, I realized maybe I don't even deserve to live. Sometimes I think death would be better than carrying this guilt forever. Park sobs uncontrollably. Seobok, deeply moved, feels pity for him. Quietly, he uses his powers. Stones and ocean waves shift, forming a grave for Hyango right there on the beach. As the sun rises, Seobok summons flocks of birds with his energy. They circle above them in the sky and then fly away gracefully. Park watches in awe, his pain momentarily forgotten. In that moment, he understands a profound truth. Death is as necessary as birth, and the world cannot exist without both. The scene shifts to Amy, who is seen in the lab opening a drawer. Inside it is a gun. Meanwhile, Park fulfills Seobok's wish and takes him to Alzan, the place he wanted to visit. There, they find memorials of people who have passed away. Seobok opens a drawer containing Amy's family photo and says softly, this is my mother and this is my father. Years ago, my mother Amy lost both her husband and her son. She could never forget her child. Using his DNA, she created me. That's why I consider her my mother. I wanted to see her memories one last time. That's why I came here. Seobok becomes emotional and starts crying. After that, both Park and Seobok head toward the lab. On the way, Seobok vomits blood again, and night begins to fall. At the same time, Kevin moves toward the lab with the army. On the road, he spots Park's car and begins chasing them. Near the lab, soldiers place a spike sheet on the ground, causing Park's car to skid out of control. Somehow, Park manages to stop it. Suddenly, the police arrive, but at that moment, Zion, watching through a drone, detonates a bomb. The explosion kills the police. Then Zion's men stun Park and capture both him and Seobok, dragging them into the lab. Zion calls Kevin and says smugly, so you brought the army to attack us? Remember, I'm not afraid of the army. I don't just have money, I have many other things too. I'll keep showing you my power. Very soon I'll announce to the media that we've created a man who can cure every disease. That news will go viral, and I'll make sure to blame you, saying you sent the army to stop our good work. Inside the lab, Park regains consciousness. He sees Lin and other scientists extracting the yellow liquid from Seobok's spine. Furious, Park shouts, "He's also human! How many times will you torture him like this?" Lin replies coldly, "How many times? We'll keep doing it for the rest of his life. With this liquid, humanity can live forever. Why do you feel pity for him? He's not even a real human. He's a clone. We created him for ourselves and for the future of mankind." Hearing this, Park loses control. He punches Lin in the face, grabs a gun, and creates chaos in the lab. Kevin, watching on video call, hears the noise and realizes something is wrong. Zion too senses suspicion, so he quickly cuts the call. Pointing the gun at Lin, Park orders him to remove all the tubes and wires connected to Seobok. "Where is Amy?" he demands. Lin doesn't answer. Instead, he takes Park to the morgue. Meanwhile, in the lab, Seobok faints as more liquid is being drained from his body. In the morgue, Lin opens a drawer. To Park's shock, Amy's dead body lies inside. Lin explains, "For us, Seobok was just an experiment, nothing more than a tool. But Amy became emotionally attached to him. She started caring for him like a real child. That's why she became a danger to our project. Zion had her killed." At that moment, guards arrive and start beating Park. Lin turns his attention towards Seobok, but finds him gone. Seobok is standing beside Amy's body. With tears in his eyes, he whispers, "Mother, this place was always hell for me. I only came back here for you, and now they've taken you away too." Lin moves towards Seobok with an anesthesia injection, but before he can act, Seobok uses his powers. With one strike, he slams Lin so hard onto the ground that the floor cracks beneath him. Soldiers open fire on Seobok, but his brain cells vibrate violently. Using his power, he causes a heavy bed to crash down on them, killing them instantly. Now only Zion is left. Terrified, he tries to escape, but Seobok stops him, lifts him in the air, and crushes him to death in a gruesome way. Kevin arrives with the army, ready to kill Seobok, but before he can enter, the entire ship begins to shake violently. Seobok blasts a hole in the ship and steps outside. At the same time, more police forces surround him and open fire. Bullets rain down on him, but not a single one touches him. Using his powers, Seobok shakes the soldiers and throws them aside, but using so much power weakens him. Meanwhile, Park regains consciousness. He sees Seobok struggling and tries to start a car to help him, but he is chained tightly. Kevin then brings in a truck carrying a powerful new weapon. He fires continuously at Seobok, forcing him to retreat. Just as Kevin is about to finish him off, Park manages to start the car, break his chains, and ram straight into Kevin's truck. This saves Seobok. Park shouts, "Run away! If you stay, they'll kill you!" But Seobok shakes his head. "No, they killed my mother. I won't leave until I destroy them." With his remaining strength, Seobok unleashes his power, turning the ground into a massive pit. Park notices oil leaking into the hole. Seobok slowly pushes the damaged vehicle toward the pit. If the burning car falls in, it will cause a massive explosion, killing everyone trapped inside. Seobok looks at Park and says, "You have two choices. Either shoot me now and end my life, or I will push this vehicle into the pit and kill them all. As long as I live, people will try to use me for their own gain." Park pleads, "Then why did you even come back here when you knew how dangerous it was?" Seobok finally reveals the truth. "There were two reasons. First, I wanted to see my mother one last time. And second, I wanted to save your life. At first, I didn't feel any connection with you, but now I feel like you're my elder brother. Instead of dying at their hands, I want to die by yours. Please shoot me." Park has no choice. With tears in his eyes, he raises the gun and shoots Seobok in the heart. Seobok, in his final moments, whispers, "Don't worry about me. I haven't slept for so many years. But now I'll finally sleep peacefully and be with my mother." Saying this, he dies. Park breaks down in grief, crying uncontrollably. A few days later, the film shows the beach where Seobok had once made a grave for Hyungo. Park visits the spot, places another stone on the grave, and sits quietly in remembrance. At that moment, a bird, one that used to stay with Seobok in the lab, lands on the stone. The scene suggests that maybe Seobok's spirit now lives inside this bird. At last, he is free, flying under the open sky. And with this emotional scene, the movie comes to an end.